Is Wild Hearts worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 211 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, can hearts really be wild?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. That's the episode, folks. Thanks for listening.
Fastest one we ever did.
Yeah. Oh, right. Well, we are going to be talking about Wild Hearts, developed by Omega Force, which, spoiler a little bit to Tom's thoughts here, is a subsidiary of Koei Tecmo Games. And this game came out in February of 2023, multi-platform. It was a Xbox One, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 5, and Windows. All of them got to taste a little Wild Hearts. And I played this on the PC. It was a whopping 75.84 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
I thought it might be larger on the PC, but it's not. Size on the Series S, 80.2 gigabytes.
My goodness.
It is beefy.
It's a beefy boy. And maybe because of all the beefy creatures in it.
It is. What kind of game have you put it down as, Chris?
I put third-person action RPG, question mark.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have a question mark. Otherwise, mine is identical. Third-person action RPG. We agree.
Okay. Yeah. This is the thing I always get, I struggle with because, okay, Diablo is they say is an action RPG. This is a RPG. I feel like the term RPG is just so it's lost its purpose or like the, you know, it's, yes, you are playing a role. You're playing as we'll kind of talk about. You're in what's the game loop? What's the game loop, Tom?
I have hunt monsters and engage them in boss battles to progress the plot.
Yes. I said the same thing almost. I put hunt monsters to get loot, to potentially hunt bigger monsters.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, Tom, shall we get into what we liked about this game?
Sure, why not? So I want to start, I guess, by saying that pursuing the kimono, which is the big monster, through the woods, looked really cool. It kind of set the tone. I liked the kind of hunting the monster through the jungle kind of setting thing.
Yeah,
it gets you into the action and playing the game right away. Doesn't have a big preamble to starting the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. The game, as soon as you hit the new game button, you are essentially jumping right in to the game. After the game loads up, you just kind of have a very, very short cutscene, and boom, you're off to the races. You're following this kimono, as Tom mentioned, and it's a great little tutorial too, because you're learning how to traverse the world a little bit, and then that's one of my likes too, is the fact that this game does have a deep combat and traversal system. I felt very cool. This game does remind me a lot of Monster Hunter, and I'm just, there's definitely some, I don't know where it is, but there's some sort of relationship somewhere in that family tree, and yeah, it has it, but they have that little difference where you can call upon essentially structures that you can use, these kind of ad hoc structures that you can build during combat, and just in general to help you do the traversal of this world, and then during combat, because you do have your regular strikes and stuff, and I feel like the combo system is a little different, maybe a little better in this versus Monster Hunter. And yeah, it was just pretty cool. Pretty cool to and the world is kind of feudal Japan kind of feel to it, but it's clearly not. There's other parts to that, that mystical, obviously these giant animals that you're fighting, these kimonos, and yeah, it's just a nice, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool looking game. I don't know what you felt about that, but
I'm with you on the tutorial. I liked the context menus for the moves. So when you execute a button press, you've got like a list of then following button presses that you can hit. So I thought that was cool. It kind of reminded me of like how you learn to play a fighting game. Some fighting games have that, like where like you press A and then it's like, okay, well, if you hit A again, this will happen. But if you press this other button, this other thing will happen. So I liked that.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus or The Last Guardian. And I think some of that is Big Monster, thing, but also just the art, the angles, the way that it does cutscenes and like moves in and out and zooms in and stuff like and pulls back. It tries to be very cinematic. I think for the most part it lands. And the consequences are that those battles with those monsters feel like pretty epic and dynamic.
Oh yeah, totally.
And cinematic maybe is another good word to put in there. Which is what you want from those things, I would think. I say, Shadow of the Colossus and Last Guardian, I think, because those are two that really do it really well, tell a story visually. If it reminds me of two of my favorite games, that's a pretty good thing for it to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did you think of the monsters? I thought they looked pretty good overall. I think they all looked pretty unique and just looked like pretty scary, badass looking monsters, and then some pretty looking monsters too.
It reminds me, if you've ever seen those like artistic renders of like what would a Pokemon look like in real life. It's got that kind of a vibe to it because it's like animal plus element. Like there's like nature mixed, or I should say like plant life or that sort of stuff kind of mixed with animals. But in a very kind of adult, scary way, and not like I want this as a pet kind of way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the first weapon that you get to use, at least from what I understand, if this is play like a Monster Hunter, is you get a katana, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Yes.
It feels pretty awesome to use. It's a giant ass katana. And then like, you have this crazy move where like the katana blade just kind of like splits open. And then it's just like you're doing like a crazy blade dance or something like that with it. It's pretty cool. Pretty badass weapon, I must say. And I'm kind of excited to see what the other ones are. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what you thought about that, but.
No, I thought the combat felt good. I definitely don't disagree with you there. I liked drawing and sheathing my sword. I thought it looked pretty cool. That's even an option, I guess, is kind of cool. I'm going to go talk to this guy, so let me put away my sword.
Yeah.
that's there's role playing, right? That's part of the role playing game piece of it, maybe.
I suppose. You and I also put down that the character creation I thought was pretty good. I was pretty impressed with that. That was, even if I'm comparing it to Monster Hunter has a pretty deep character customization system, but this might slightly eke it ahead. I don't know what you thought about it.
I really liked that you started playing the game without doing it, because me and I could get lost in there forever. Yeah. So I appreciate very much that the game starts, your character is very well hidden under their clothes. And I liked the very cinematic nature of like, you remove your hat and got to make your character now. Like if we're going to show your character's face, you got to decide what that looks like. And it has a whole bunch of presets that you can use, which is great. Yeah. I love that. And then once you've selected a preset, it's like, well, what do you want to change? You want to change hair color, or you don't want to change? And then I was like, oh boy, like this is much deeper than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just like pick from one of these 12 characters, and it was not that. It was
there was like layers. I feel like even with the hair, you could do layers or something like that. It was cool.
You could, you could set up your bangs separately. It was like a full MMO style character creation.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense because you can play this co-op, but like not with hundreds or thousands of other people. So
right.
I don't think it needs to be quite so robust, but I appreciate that it is.
Yeah. And I believe it's up to 3 people for co-op. So, another one of those games. It's like 3 people. Why? Why do they do that? Anyway, that's besides the point. The other thing that I thought was really cool, it kind of is kind of a two-parter. when you finish the tutorial, you had the option to kill the kimono or pet it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of cool. And then when you actually when you tackle the first boss, you have a finishing move. And then so you do like essentially like an anime style, just like thing. And it's like, and then it dies and you're like, okay, cool. And then I noticed that when you can like wound other animals, they're like smaller kind of, I guess, fodder animals, so to speak, where you collect resources and stuff like that. And you can actually just leave them like completely wounded and just walk away. If you don't finish them off, they just are there, which I thought that was kind of weird. But all right, that's a choice. So yeah, it's just pretty interesting. Like we said, like the big thing, the is of course the battles, right? The giant monster battles. And I like the fact that you can mount them. That was really cool. And I appreciated that because a lot of time, but yeah, I'll talk about it on dislikes, but this is like just overall for these kind of giant monster battle games that I wanted to talk about. But go ahead. If you have anything else to talk about in your likes.
The only other thing is a very minor thing, which is I can save whenever I want. And thank you.
Yeah. They listen. So yeah, I agree. That is nice to be able to just save anywhere, which I thought initially that you couldn't because you had to like get to your fast travel points and things like that. But yeah, all right, that's good stuff. Now let's talk about those bad stuff.
Yeah. From the gate, just starting up the game, you need to like confirm everything twice.
Oh,
and that seemed annoying to me. It's like, are you sure? It's like, yeah, I'm just setting like an audio setting. Yes, I'm sure. Like, it seemed weird to me to have to press so many buttons. And I think, I don't know. Like, I tried HDR and it actually ended up looking worse for some reason. So I had to go back to normal. I guess this is kind of connected to that, which is that I think some of the controls are not terribly intuitive. Like on the controller, the little hamburger button is the confirm button. Like instead of A, right? Instead of like, yes, please, like just moving along. It was like, it's a strange choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt like there were even points where you had, I could be wrong, you had to press B for certain things too. I don't know. I think I felt like, I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. Like I agree with you. Some of the control choices were definitely odd, but I got to tell you, I had such a problem playing this game on my PC. It kept crashing.
Oh, no.
Literally, right after like that first cutscene when it loads into the world, it just kept freezing. So I want to say like I wasted probably 15 to 20 minutes. I already started the clock. So I was like, nope, this is part of it now at this point. So I was just trying to troubleshoot all of this while trying to figure out how to play it. And I ended up having to play it on xCloud. So other thoughts, you could play it on xCloud. So it is xCloud capable. I had to uninstall the game completely to play it on xCloud. So that's how I played it. So and the thing with xCloud, at least right now, it was just very muddy looking. So it was kind of disappointing, but
to be fair, when I tried an xCloud game previously, I had that same problem where it just looked kind of, it played well, surprisingly well over the xCloud, but it just didn't look good.
Right. So that was a big disappointment for me. Because I have a fairly decent machine. So I thought, you know what? Why not? I want to play with and crank up all the settings. Nope. I even lowered some of the settings too, just to see if it worked. It worked for maybe like a half a second and then crashed again. So I was like, okay. There's clearly people out there that were having the same issue. So big oops there from Omega Force for sure.
Well, I mean, perhaps they're more comfortable developing for consoles.
Maybe, but they have to be developing these on computers. So it's like,
to be fair, yes, but and let's be honest, like an Xbox. What is an Xbox if not a computer, right? Like,
yeah.
This is an Xbox, and that's an Xbox, and everything's an Xbox now.
I mean, that's their new slogan, right? This is an Xbox, so yeah. Oh well. And it's funny because we both talked about how the tutorial and how the game jumps right in, and then it comes to a crashing stop. Like you got hit by a wall of text and cutscenes, and it was like, what is going on here? I don't need to talk to this guy. What is going? And it was even more frustrating for me because I had to get to that point several times. So I was like, oh my god. So it was frustrating.
It gets you into the game quickly, but I too have a note here that says pacing is very slow. I put glacial a little bit of as a pun because you're doing like ice levels first. But it's full of cutscenes. And even for me, who is not stuck trying to reinstall the game or whatever, very little of my first hour was spent actually playing. There was a lot of just watching cutscenes.
Very disappointing because like if that whole chunk was like cut down 50%, I think it would have made the game feel so much better. I feel like because there's a lot of even after that there was still other systems that you're introduced to, right? Like the boxes and stuff like that you start to build. Like because it's not just that. Yeah. So like I don't know. It was very disappointing. Especially it's like I don't understand the point of that because like in that whole conversation there's a dialogue tree, right? Like kind of the things that like, oh, what do you like to do? I guess kind of like giving you the RPG feel, but then it's like it made nothing. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't like give me particular stats or give me a different. It's just, I guess, like a mental picture for myself. Like, oh, I lived in this particular place in the world, but it's like, okay, what does that do for me? Nothing.
Yeah, it didn't actually impact like any kind of mechanics, which was weird. Yeah. It felt very much like the sort of thing you would do building an RPG character for a tabletop game.
Yeah.
But usually when you do that, there are mechanical consequences to those decisions.
Absolutely.
And here, there weren't any, or at least none that I saw.
Like, I mean, we just played Torment Tides of Numenera, and it was like, those dialogue choices had, you consequences, and it like kind of helped you shape your character. It's like, oh, okay, you like this particular style of approaching these things. So like, this is the type of character that you can build. Like it built your character based on your decisions. And I was like, but not, this was like, okay, cool. So anyway, I'm done talking about that. I have this beef with every monster fighting game. And that is, I just wish there was a better visual cue for damage on the creatures.
Yeah, you don't like all the numbers, the numbers. Yeah, well, everywhere.
I mean, this one, like, so this game and Monster Hunter, did this game had numbers in it?
Yes,
I forget. Oh, it did. Okay. Like with Monster Hunter, there's no numbers, right? So, or no, I take that back. There are numbers, but you don't know their health pool. So I feel like, what's the point of me knowing those numbers? Like, because sometimes. In Monster Hunter, there's like certain parts that you can attack, and those like, so for example, the tail, you can break off the tail and stuff like that. You can cut off the tail and stuff like that. Fine. But I'd still like to be able to see like the slash marks that my katana could do on and like, I feel like technology has gotten pretty far that you can do that. I would think. I don't know.
Seems reasonable to me. I don't disagree with you.
Like, no, a perfect example of this is there's that game Dead Island. I think Dead Island 2, where they had this incredible gore system for the zombies, and there's not just one zombie. There's several zombies that are out there. So it's like it's possible to do this kind of like body deformation system, and it's like. It would look so cool in one of these games. Oh well. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox on that. Now you can talk about something that you didn't like.
I don't like that it tried to sell me DLC from the title screen. I mean, I guess does this fall under the EA umbrella? It does, right? Like,
it's an EA original, so they published it.
So there you go. So I wasn't surprised necessarily, but it did. I'm like, really? Is this necessary? It didn't feel necessary. It just irritated me. One other thing that irritated me is there's a character who's called Mujina, who is like character, storyteller, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. The whole time when he was talking, I just felt like it was like a caricature. Like the dialogue's awkward. It was just, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely weird. And again, like he was the one that kind of slowed things down for us. So it's like, he's just, I don't know. He's talking about, oh, you need to hunt these monsters. Like, yeah, let me get to it. Skip.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Tell me where to go and I'll go.
Yeah, exactly. So, and while they try to differentiate this game with Monster Hunter with this whole idea of like building structures on the fly, I felt like it just slowed the pacing down of the combat a little bit. Because like, from what I understand, like they're trying to push you to use them because the higher, like, for what I can understand early on, at least, you can do better damage the higher, like you basically jump attacks do the best damage, from what I understand. And while they're cool, they look really cool. It's just like, so are we forced to play in that particular way? Like, that's kind of lame. I don't know what you thought about that, but
it didn't bother me so much. And the fact of the matter is, when I was fighting the big monsters, I didn't build anything. I just went, just rolled and dodged and played it a much more traditional way.
Fair.
But you certainly can, and the game definitely encourages you to build these contraptions to aid in combat.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe I'm not a Fortnite player. I'm just not comfortable building and combating at the same time. So, what do I know?
Yeah. What do I know? What do I know either? But the other thing I just wanted to point out is apparently you have to build your base camp or something like that. And that's like, that was a big turnoff for me because I'm like, I don't know. I don't like the base building stuff. Just let me go out there and hunt some monsters. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah. You want to find an existing campfire and just use that, Chris?
Yeah. All right. Anything else here, Tom, that you want to talk about, or shall we get to our other thoughts?
I think it is time for other thoughts.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned before, this game does have 3-player co-op, and it is xCloud capable. And How Long to Beat says this game takes about 40 to 50 hours to complete.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sizable amount of time, and for the size of a game download that it is, I would say. I guess that's worth it. What information do you have, Tom?
Okay. So the developer, Omega Force, is best known for the Dynasty Warriors series. So there are a lot of those games, and that is primarily what they make. The kimono are a fusion of animals and nature, and that's how the developer sees them, and that's why you get these kind of elemental beasts, right? Mm-hmm. Not dragons, right? Not dinosaurs, not the sorts of things you would hunt in Monster Hunter.
Right.
As players progress, you'll unlock new armor and weapons. There are 8 different weapon types that exist in the game. So, something to look forward to in your 40 to 50 hours, right? There are 4 biomes. Each one is based on a different season. So winter biome, fall, etc.
Nice.
And as we pointed out earlier, the full game is playable online with up to 2 other players. Nice. And the developer, what I had read was that's a balance reason. So I always look at that and go, maybe it's a technical limitation, why you don't want 4 players on the screen at the time, but I guess they were having a hard time with balance. Maybe the monsters became too easy with 3 additional.
All right, I guess that makes sense. Just make them more bullet spongy, or I guess blade spongy. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I guess that would be more frustrating. But anyway, I guess
especially Tom, you don't see the bars, right? So
yeah, that's true. Oh, okay. I could see that being difficult to try to take. Anyway. All right, Tom. Well, we need to find out, are we keeping Wild Hearts, this game, on our respective hard drives, or are we cutting it into a million pieces and never seeing it again?
Well, if I could chop this file size down, maybe that would help. It really does take a long time to get started, and maybe because of Mujina, maybe because of whatever, the plot really didn't grab me. Like, I wasn't invested in these characters by the end of the hour. Because it's such a big install size, it's really hard to leave on my drive as a maybe. But I did like the boss battles. So I think, it's still on my hard drive, but it'll probably be one of the first things to go just because it takes up so much space, and I really wasn't all that excited about it. So probably not, in the grander scheme of things.
Okay, that's fair. For me, look, I was kind of excited to see someone that would, really challenge the Monster Hunter franchise, just push them to, to get that franchise to another level. I mean, not to say Monster Hunter hasn't evolved. It has, obviously, but for me, I was just so disappointed with this game. And I'm really disappointed the game didn't work on my PC. All the crashes and stuff like that. And, the cutscenes thing was just a slog and just, again, gave me like PTSD of like the cutscenes in Monster Hunter. I was like, oh my God, like I don't really care about this stuff. Just get me into the game to fight some monsters. That's all I cared about. And, but all that stuff just, I don't know. If it did work on my PC, I probably would give it another shot. But as of right now, if the only way I can play it is on xCloud, I'm out. I'm done with the game.
Very understandable.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. Well, those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Blue Sky at 1H1D, on Twitter and Threads at TC1H1D. Shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com, or check out our next streams on Twitch, twitch.tv/1H1D. We'll play these games there for an hour. Hop on there. We do all this stuff, and we do it also on YouTube. So hey, if you're checking this out on YouTube, send a comment down below. Maybe Wild Hearts does get better. Maybe that DLC notification doesn't pop up all the time, and that's great. That's good to know. Maybe let us know about that. 1H1D is part of the Q2B network, and if you like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebuild.com/network. Now, Tom.
Yes, Chris.
We need to find out what episode 212 will bring us.
212.
Maybe, or maybe not. But the surprise button will let us know. Here we go. Genesis Noir.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. That's it. That's the episode that we will be rolling into next. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.